All right, let's dive into one of history's biggest mysteries, shall we? We're talking about the master of mystery himself, Nostradamus. And today we're going to try and decode this chilling vision he had, something about an iron vault, royal children, and this reckoning from beyond. Sound interesting? Let's get into it. I mean, just listen to that line. The ancestors and forebears will come forth from the depths of hell. Wow, that's enough to give you chills, right? It's a warning, a sign that something ancient and, well, angry is on its way up. But what is it rising against, and why? That's the big mystery we're here to unravel. So, before we can even begin to understand the prophecy, we've got to understand the man behind it, the prophet himself. Of course, I'm talking about Michel de Nostradamus, but you probably know him better as Nostradamus. So who was this guy? Well, he lived way back in 16th century France, and he was a pretty brilliant dude, a physician and a seer. He's most famous for his book, Les Prophéties, which is basically this collection of 4-line poems he called Quatrains. And here's the thing about his predictions. They are famously cryptic. He filled them with symbols and metaphors on purpose, and that's exactly why, centuries later, we're still talking about them, still debating what in the world he was trying to tell us. Okay, so the specific riddle we're tackling together today comes from what's known as Century 1, Quatrain 10. And you got to think of it less like a straightforward prediction and more like a historical puzzle box. And right now, we're about to open it piece by piece. It all starts with this really stark, heavy image. A coffin is put into the vault of iron. A coffin, that's a symbol of death, of finality. And then you have an iron vault. Is that a place of ultimate security? Or is it maybe a prison? And it turns out there's more than just a coffin inside this vault, where 7 children of the king are held. Get this, a whole generation of a dynasty, trapped, contained, and right there next to a symbol of death. The plot is definitely thickening here. But then, the prophecy takes this really dramatic turn. Something is set in motion. The ancestors and forebears will come forth. The past itself, the ancestors, the very foundation of this royal line, they start to stir. They are definitely not resting in peace. And their arrival, it is not a gentle one. From the depths of hell to confront them, they're coming from a place of torment, of reckoning. And they have a purpose, a clear mission, to confront whatever is happening to those children in that iron vault. So here it is, the whole thing, all together. You've got death, imprisonment, and this supernatural rebellion. It's dramatic, it's dark, and honestly, it's incredibly vague. So the big question is, what could this possibly mean? To get any closer to an answer, we have to do what anyone trying to figure out Nostradamus has to do. We've got to break down the symbols. Because the real power of these prophecies, it's all in their layers of meaning. Okay, let's start with the iron vault. On the one hand, yeah, it represents total security, right? An impenetrable fortress. But at the same time, it's a cage. And this double meaning is absolutely key. Is it a literal tomb? Maybe a doomsday bunker? Or could it even be a metaphor for something like a bank, or some kind of system that locks away potential and keeps it from growing? And what about these 7 children of the king? Are we talking about literal heirs to a throne, or could they symbolize something totally different? Maybe 7 powerful nations, or 7 new world-changing technologies, or even the 7 deadly sins. I mean, the number 7 itself pops up all through history, often representing something complete or even divine. And this right here, this shows you the core challenge perfectly. Are we supposed to be reading a literal story about some doomed royal family? Or is Nostradamus giving us a much broader, symbolic warning? Is the coffin really the death of an idea? And are the children its legacy, now trapped and unable to see the light of day? Okay, let's shift gears and look at the second half of the quatrain, because this is where it all kicks into action. This isn't just a static picture, it's a story of a major confrontation. You can really see the action unfold in 3 clear steps. First, you've got the rising. The past just refuses to stay buried. Then, the source. This isn't some heavenly intervention coming to the rescue. No, this is something dark, something primal. And finally, step 3, the confrontation. Their goal is to challenge the present, to fight back against the confinement of those children. So the crucial point here is this. Whatever these symbols actually mean, the story itself is about the past rising up to hold the present accountable.
It's a huge warning that old sins, old traditions, or old promises, they won't be forgotten. They will come back, and they'll come back forcefully to demand a reckoning.
So after all this analysis, you might be thinking we'd land on a single, neat answer. But we don't. And you know what? Maybe that's the whole point. The reason prophecies like this stick around for 500 years isn't because they give us a crystal clear picture of the future. It's because they act like a mirror, reflecting our own anxieties back at us and forcing us to search for meaning, especially when things feel uncertain.
All right, so let's do a quick recap of what we've unpacked here. We've seen that this quatrain is really a puzzle, built on these powerful symbols of imprisonment and legacy. The central conflict is this super dramatic clash between the past and the present. And I think the most important takeaway is that its meaning isn't some hidden fact we have to find, but it's a possibility that's open to interpretation.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is this a cryptic description of some long-lost, forgotten historical event? Or is it a timeless warning for all of us? A message reminding us that what we bury, well, it won't always stay buried. You know, maybe the real genius of Nostradamus wasn't in seeing the future, but in understanding human nature. He knew we would always be searching for answers, and he just gave us the perfect, mysterious puzzle to help us look.